of the business today. Fuck shit is finished today. RT and J, we the new PB&J. We dropped the classic today. We did a tablet of acid today. The joints with the matches and actions away. We dash away. Donna and Dixon, the pistol is blasting away.
Hey everyone, my name is Spider-Man. My real name is Assad, and I'm a member of the Watchmen of Amino. I'm here to make a video here for you guys today talking about why I think Miles Morales is the best Spider-Man. Let's get started.
Doctors of death, killing our patients of breath. We are the pain you can trust. Work.
Reason number one on why I think Miles Morales is the best Spider-Man. Alright, his personality. His personality is that of a scared, inexperienced kid with an aptitude for learning who doesn't want to go into the hero biz because he doesn't want to earn the disapproval of his father due to his dislike towards mutants and powered people in general, which I find personally more relatable because as a kid, I try and gain the approval of my father and mother no matter what I do. He's also forced to grow up faster because of being Spider-Man, and he eventually quits after he's shown what the job can bring to his life. Something that is even more interesting to see with Miles Morales more than Peter, because at this point, he's new to the game. He's hit so much harder because he's younger, and he's trying to do the best he can, even with all of the support. We've already seen it with Peter, but this is under different circumstances. He even has a dark side to him that he feels is there because of his father and uncle's involvement in the streets before Miles was born. Something that goes deeper than getting angry at Norman Osborn because he's gone up against you thousands of times.
Hooking up curses and slurs, smoking my brain in a mush. I became famous for blaming you.
Reason number two, his supporting cast is more realistic in general. When Miles gets his powers, he immediately tells his best friend Genki, and they share everything together. Genki is kind of Shrink, the best friend slash sidekick who was there for moral support and helping Miles with his web fluid decisions and things like that. Something that Peter didn't have until he got older and he was married. As far as the rest of the cast, he has his parents who offer the different sides of how a person outside of Miles would view Miles. Rio Morales, his mom, being outgoing and optimistic about power people such as Miles and mutants. Jefferson Davis, his father, being skeptical and being less open to the idea of powered people and mutants. Another interesting part of his cast would be his uncle, Aaron Davis. His uncle's selfish, blind, and willing to bully his nephew, using him as an enforcer to his affairs in the streets of New York's crime. What makes it even better is that Miles and his uncle have a very close relationship, especially growing up. His parents disapproving of that. Miles also has the support of Peter's female clone, Jessica Drew. Now, what's interesting about that is that Jessica Drew is Peter Parker, but she's trying to teach this kid and still be her own person. And she feels more confused and even admits to being jealous of Miles, as he has a real family and he's Spider-Man, something that Jessica doesn't have as she's only a clone with his memories, which makes it even worse. But better in a sense because they become really close. Jessica even helping Miles as a sort of mentor. Those interactions at best is something that Peter didn't have as a kid, as I said before. Seeing Miles have that support and still the hardship is something way more interesting. Especially since Miles, after revealing his identity to his father, through that, after even more hardship, they actually end up becoming closer together to support each other more after Rio's death. Last but not least, Miles has the support of Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, and Aunt May, all of them providing insight on how Peter was when he was Spider-Man to help Miles determine what he should do. The ultimate answer being, don't do what Peter did, do what you would do. Which turns out pretty good because he ends up slowly, painfully but surely succeeding where Peter failed or didn't get to see in his early days of the Ultimate Universe. Which brings up another interesting concept in Miles' life. Miles isn't Spider-Man because of, his parents dying or personal tragedy. Being Spider-Man is what brings the tragedy or conflict. His father would disapprove of his son if he found out he was Spider-Man. His mother likes the idea of mutants empowered people such as Miles, but she would later die as a result of Miles' inexperience overall. His friend Genki and Peter Parker's supporting cast like Gwen Stacy would go on to blame Miles because of his cowardice to put on the mask after his mother's death. He was afraid of, experiencing or going through that again. He was afraid of, taking that pain, but he eventually rose to the occasion to take up the mantle again. His uncle tried to exploit Miles's powers for his own gain, leading him to the death, and the public questioning, is this new Spider-Man really worth it? Is he the real deal? As a result, when Miles is sent to the main universe, the bond with his father is demonstrated even more when with the sitting in the trees storyline. There's also Miles's disbelief at seeing an alternate version of his father still being a criminal, which differs from his main universe counterpart. Rio also gets brought back to life, this showing that Miles's life doesn't need to be driven by tragedy. Rio even gets a spot to shine, helping Miles in his injury for a fight with Hammerhead. We even have other characters that show up from other titles for support since the mains are gone after the Ultimate Universe ended. Goldballs, the X-Men, being the roommate of Genki and Miles. Bombshell coming into the fray of the series to be a part of the new Sinister Six in Marvel Legacy.
I became famous for blaming you fucks, naming my way through the brush. There was no training or taming.
Finally, reason 3, we have Miles Morales' powers. Most will say his 2 extra spider powers, or more specifically, his Venom Blast is an overpowering crunch. However, this is not true. The Venom Blast, while being very powerful and often used by Miles, doesn't always work. Here's why. Oftentimes, Miles is caught up in his inexperience. This leads him to not getting as creative with his powers as he could. This hinders it and even gets Miles beat up and left for dead while the bad guy gets away, which is interesting because it's so powerful. He has this powerful weapon literally at his fingertips, but there are still problems, much like Peter running out of web fluid, but on a larger scale and under vastly different circumstances. Miles is not completely helpless, though. He has an aptitude for learning, and such things allow him to incorporate Peter's moves into his own in watching footage of his battles, and he's generally more trained than Peter was at his age, even earning a spot on the Avengers for a time, something that Peter reached only later in life as well. And those are my final statements regarding my argument that Miles Morales is the better Spider-Man. If you like this video, which would be very surprising considering that this audio has been quite shitty because I haven't gotten a mic yet, please like and hit that subscribe button, and I will hopefully see you guys another time. Bye.
Sweet dreams are made of this.